Hey guys, today's show is about deceased pets and afterlife communication. Be right back. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Happy Friday, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope you're saying yeah, great, because we are heading into the weekend. Let me push my buttons here. No contact lenses today. I'm giving my eyes a bit of a rest. Been having a few problems with the right side of my eye, so with the right eye. So anyway, Nancy Matz had something come up last minute that she had to take care of. So I'm here. It's me. So, my name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of Sacramento, California. We're 45 strong up and down the state, which means if you have a paranormal problem, we can get to you. It may take us a while, because California is this huge state, but we will get to you. In the case that it does take us a couple of days, maybe 1 or 2 days, we do have psychics on staff who will contact you and talk to you about what may or may not be going on in your neck of the woods. And in most cases, they can calm the energy down, and in order for us to get out there and work on the case. It's usually not more than 1 or 2 days. That being said, you can find us all over the internet. Just Google California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team. But the easiest way right now, since our two websites, the radio website and the main website, are under maintenance, is to go over to Facebook, and you can find us on Facebook under California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team or California Haunts Radio. Contact us via private message there, and we will get back to you as soon as we can with all that to get out there and assist you. Doesn't matter where you're at in the state either. That being said, if you're watching from Facebook tonight, and a lot of you are, you see and like what you hear, please feel free to hit that follow button. Hit that follow button. We're always looking for followers, especially on Facebook. YouTube, we're looking to build up to our 1,000 subscribers. So if you're watching from YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. Same thing with Twitch. Okay, we're always looking for followers and subscribers over there as well. Also, as you're watching the show, if you do like what you see and hear today, please feel free to leave a thumbs up, heart, happy face on all those networks, and comment in the chat room, because when you do all those three things, it puts us higher in the computer system for all the social media outlets. And what that does is they push us out to more people. And that's the goal of all this, is to be seen and heard by more people. Anyway, let me know how your week's been, since we're just starting out on Friday. My week's been kind of up and down. It's been, it is what it is. I'm glad the week's over. That's all I can tell you. I'll just say that much. It's just been a weird up and down week. Tonight I wanted to talk about pets, and I know people have a lot of concerns about what happens to your pet once they pass away. Will you? I mean, there's the whole Rainbow Bridge story. Where the pets cross the Rainbow Bridge, and they look up because one of their owners has passed away, and they run to their owner. When our time comes, we get to meet up with them again and all that stuff. But what happens before then? I've had some interesting experience. I'm an animal lover, and I've had dogs and birds and cats and everything here, and rabbits even. And excuse my internet, it's acting up today. There's a lot going on out there in the world, and a lot of people are probably online in my neighborhood. Everybody has Xfinity. Okay, so just an FYI, if I blink or I fall down to that place where all the Marios disappear to, just bear with me on that. Anyway, as I was saying, I've had all these animals in the past, and I have had so many really cool experiences after they have passed. that, I have a lot to share with you today, and that's kind of like that's why I wanted to talk about this. I also have some research on a page that I found on Google. I did some research myself, and there's 25 ways to tell whether or not your deceased pet is attempting to contact you. So we're going to get into that as well. But my stuff goes back pretty far. My stuff goes back around let's see, it's 2024 right now. My stuff goes back to around 2010. Even earlier, like 2006, where I started to notice that the deceased pets were in this house, because like I said, we've always had, my father, loved animals as well, dogs and cats and you name it, and we've always had pets here, and so this is a prime candidate house to have visitations, and it's been a really interesting ride. So there's a lot of ways your pet can contact you after they pass. I know it's for a lot of people, it's a family member, and it's like a gut punch. It's a horrible gut punch when when a dog or a cat or a bird or whatever Gila monster, whatever kind of animal you might have passes. It's really a gut punch. It's like a member of your family, and right now I've got a 16-year-old dog that I don't know, he's not doing so well, and I also have a dog that's going to be 5 years old, and I've had her for a couple of years, and I'm kind of sad because watching her get older. She's starting to mellow out and kind of mature now. But watching her get older really bums me out, because I just went through a period with 2 dogs in a row that I lost. And also, and then for a while there, I had lost like 3. My mom and I, because all our dogs got old. And so it was like boom, 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 boom. In fact, the animal cremation place felt really bad for me because I just it was like in one period it was one every month, and it's just old age, and that's something I don't want to see with this dog. I lost my last Australian Kelpie was 18 years old when she passed, and they live a long time, so maybe this one's going to be 5, so maybe I'll get lucky and she lives another 13 years, which would be cool. But it's still sad to think that she's even this energy she has, she's at some point she'll start winding down, and and I'll see age take effect, because she's such a fun dog. She's such a sweetheart. She's so fun, just like my little rat terrier, my 16-year-old rat terrier. He sleeps a lot now and things like that. So he's slowing down. He's slowing down. He's got some eye trouble, where I think he's blind in one eye. So so things are happening, and it's really heart-wrenching to see things like this happen with your pets. So that being said, I'm going to take you guys back a ways, and we'll start talking about what I have experienced. I could talk from personal experience of what was going on with my dogs, the ones that have passed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the tablet. I went ahead and mark the page, and we can talk about these things. There's 25 ways to see, to tell if your pet is trying to communicate with you. So let me open up the tablet, and we can get the show going here, and the saying that I just love, that I've been picking up from another content creator, and Jasmine and Dapper, I'm going to give credit to the content creator, is put your reading glasses on so you can hear me better. I just love that statement, and I just think it's just hilarious. And the funny thing is, what I didn't realize with that statement was that a lot of people will wear their hearing aids with their reading glasses, so maybe that's where it comes from. But I just think that statement's hilarious, to put your reading glasses on, I'm in this other chair. I'm in a newer chair. It still squeaks, even the new one. But, yeah, I'm in this newer chair. And so it leans back. It leans back further than the other chair I had. So I'll probably be switching back to my other chair tonight, or after tonight. Okay? So we're going to talk about this. And if you're an animal lover, you're going to love this. And it's going to make you feel better about losing your pet. Okay? And it's interesting because what I found over the years, and there's stuff I found over the years that I didn't really expect, to happen, and in particular animals like birds. I'll tell you about my bird. I had a bird that passed away that he stuck around for a couple of months. He's probably still, but he's stuck around. I'll tell you how I know. Okay, so this is Animal Communication: 25 Common Signs from Deceased Pets by Sandra Martinez. This was done February 11th, 2023. So we're just going to go down the line here, and let me go down the line, and we'll start getting our signs. Okay. Number one in here is hearing familiar sounds, footsteps, barking, howling, and scratching. My mother had a Chihuahua for years named Holly, and she was a brindle-colored Chihuahua, and they would always lose her in the house. You know, this house is pretty good size. It's a pretty big house. And they would always not so much lose her, but she would get lost underneath furniture or corners or whatever. I mean, she was only so big, right? Because she's Chihuahua. Anyway, after she passed, I was here alone a lot because we had a house at one time up in Northern California on 5 acres. And so my mom and dad would take all the dogs and go up there, to give them some running space and stuff. Because back then I didn't even have my Australian Kelpies yet. I hadn't even started on those. And so anyway, I remember we always had a tile. We ended up having a tiled hallway, which was new because it used to be carpeted, but it ended up being we had a tile running down there at one time. And I remember lying in my bedroom, because my bedroom, I had the middle bedroom, and I remember having the door open, being a ghost hunter, and I'm going to tell you this right now, being a ghost hunter, even in the before time, I'm afraid of the dark. I've been afraid of the dark for years. So I've always got a night light, or there's always a light on, and my bedroom door is open to the hall light. Okay? And that's how it was even then. And like I said, this is around probably, I think, around 2003, 2004, I think. And I remember lying in my bedroom and hearing the bell. This is about a year after this dog passed away. Hearing the bell, because she had a little bell around her neck, so my mom and dad could find her and tell where she was in the house. So I remember hearing the bell, and I remember hearing her nails on the floor in the hallway. Click, 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 down the hallway. And they would get about halfway down the hall from my living room, going in a northern direction. They get about halfway down the hall, and the noises would stop. But this happened for about a month, day after day after day after day, where she had come back to visit. So that was one of the first times I've ever noticed that, a pet would come back like that, or had the capability of coming back to see you in the house. So let me read this a little bit here, and you guys can hear, because maybe you've experienced something similar as well. Pet parents often hear familiar sounds that remind them of their deceased pets. These can include faint barking, howling, thudding tails, paws jaunting around the house, and door flaps opening and closing. Okay? This phenomenon is most common in the first 2 weeks after an animal's passing. It is their way of comforting and accompanying us through our grief. Their presence is reassuring, and their way of letting us know that they are safe and continue to be right by our sides. Now, I can tell you that I didn't hear my mother or father talk about, having any feeling that any of the Chihuahuas, because they used to breed Chihuahuas for sale. They were professional breeders, and but they were pets. They were pet Chihuahuas that we kept, and they never said anything about hearing noises or hearing the dogs or anything like that after they passed. But I definitely heard her, for that length of time. It would happen around the same time every night when I would settle in to fall asleep. The dog would come down the hallway, but like I said, she'd get around like more the halfway to my doorway point, and boom, it disappeared. You didn't hear anymore. So, take it for what it's worth. The next one is smelling familiar scents, which reminds you of your pet. I haven't had this happen yet, but our animals in heaven may also communicate using scents and odors. Have you ever got a sudden whiff of your animal's scent, musky breath, shampoo, food, or any other odor that reminds you of them? Well, this could be a sign that your pet is nearby and wants to reconnect. Our animals can also use phantom smells or scents to trigger past memories and shared experiences. Those that experience scent visitations usually have a highly developed sense of smell and the psychic sense equivalent called, I don't even know, CLAIRALL or ALIENCE. I almost say clairaudience, but that's not what it is. So that's another way, certain smells. I haven't had that experience yet, as far as any smells go with any of my animals. But like I said, we're gonna as we talk about these topics, I will tell you what I have experienced. To be perfectly honest of this, okay. Here's one that happens a lot here: seeing their presence out of the corner of your eye. Okay. Have you ever noticed a glimpse of your pet, a shadow or something moving from the corner of your eye? Well, you may have just seen your animal in spirit. The reason why we doubt this experience is that when we turn to look, we find nothing there. It's not your eyes playing tricks on you. Most people perceive their animals in spirit using their peripheral vision, not direct vision. It is your animal's way of making its presence known. Visits are most common among dog owners, as they tend to stay close to their family, even in the afterlife. Next time you get a glimpse, acknowledge their presence and tell them how much you love their presence. If you want to learn how to communicate, okay, this gal has courses, so we'll give her credit for her courses as well. Again, I'm reading from, let me get this going because I don't want to get in trouble, 25 Common Signs from Deceased Pets by Sandra Martinez. Okay, so I have seen, and let me put this down so I can hear better. I have seen both of I have Australian Kelpies. Once we got through the Chihuahua phase, we went through Pekingese phase, and then my uncle had a dog that when he passed away, my dad brought the dog home, and the dog turns out the dog is was an Australian Kelpie, very very sweet dog, and that's what got us hooked on Kelpies. And so I turned around and got another Australian Kelpie, which whom I named Maddie for Matilda, kind of like the song, Waltzing Matilda. And she lived to be around 15. And when she passed, it really bothered me because I wouldn't see her. And I remember talking with Nancy about why can't I, because we were really close when hiking, did everything together, this dog and I. And it really bothered me because she just would not come, would not come in dreams, it's no contact at all. And then I started to see her out of the corner of my eye. I'd see her going around corners. She was bow-legged. She was kind of bow-legged in the back, so she, so she stood a certain way and walked a certain way. So I knew it was her because at that time I had another Kelpie that I had gotten, a rescue Kelpie by the time Maddie had passed away, named Reba. And so I always had to kind of think, well, is it Reba that just went around the corner, or where is Reba in the house? And Reba would always be in a crate or someplace. And that's when I realized I was seeing Maddie out of the corner of my eye. Friends who would come over to the house would say that they would see Maddie in the kitchen area. And so there were sightings like that going on with Maddie. When my 18-year-old passed away 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when my 18-year-old passed away 2.5 years ago, I started to see her walking around the house. And not just like out of the corner of my eye or anything like that. I literally would see her walking around my house. And I would think it was the new dog. And the new dog, of course, was in her crate. So, because Kelpies tend to look almost alike from the rear, unless they have something going on with their back end, like Maddie it was kind of bull-legged. So I would see Reba. And it was just a really, really comforting feeling to see her. And I still see her occasionally. To this day, I see her. She's always around me, and it's great. It's really, really great feeling to know. So that's something you can do and that's something people have to remember. And I know I had to learn that from Nancy. That was one of my School of Hard Knocks things with Nancy, was that, if even with humans, and I'm going to say this because this is my experience with dealing with the paranormal like I do. Even even with humans, if I squint, it's because I'm trying to look at the screen and see what's going on, because my glasses, yeah, aren't anywhere near as good as my contacts. But even with humans, you go through this where you want to see your loved one, so badly. Sometimes you do see them, like, 2 weeks after the death, that's when they're going to appear, if they're going to appear to you. And so sometimes you're not ready, even though you don't realize you're not ready. And so you're waiting and waiting, and then at some point, you see them. You get a sign, or you see them. Okay? And, yeah. Let's see, Pamela's in the channel. Let's see what she's got going on here. Right. Pamela, yeah. I didn't mean to yell in the mic, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. So Pamela says that they see her dog Misty often. You do, but the thing is, you may not see them right away after they pass. That's the point I'm trying to make, because I went through that frustration with Maddie, because I thought, my God, we were so close. Why isn't she coming to me? Why isn't she coming to me? But you have to be ready in the right mindset. The animals are like humans. They don't want to come at a time when it's going to upset you and put you back through the misery of them passing away. They don't want to do that. So they're going to come and appear, when you're doing better, and when you can handle it and enjoy it. And we'll talk about some of those experiences that I've had, okay? But anyway, so Reba, and that surprised me, because Reba was a rescue, and she had been hurt by her previous owners. And so she didn't like humans. She really didn't. Sometimes she didn't like me. And I took care of her towards the end. The last few weeks that she was sick, I cleaned her up. I took care of her, one-on-one. I remember one night I came home, and she I guess she had tried to get in the bathtub to get to something, and she was stuck like halfway across the bathtub with her legs kind of, her front in the bathtub, and her back legs out. And I remember, because she, like I said, she didn't like humans. She didn't like to be touched certain ways. So I ended up getting one of my flannel shirts and covering her head, and then picking her up, for fear that she might bite me. Because, she was just like that. It was all fear. It was all fear with her. So that's one thing I remember her doing. And so we kind of got really, really, really close towards the end, because I was taking care of her. But it surprised me, because I no sooner took her over to the cremation place, and that night I saw her in the house. She came back to see me. So that was really cool. I thought that was really quick. That tells you how close we really are, still to this day. Because even now I will see her. I'll be sitting on the couch with Gypsy, who is another Australian Kelpie. I've had 5 Kelpies. And I see Reba, walk across the room, or I'll see her walk into my dining room. So it's kind of cool. But let's talk about seeing their presence. Okay, we did that. Seeing their presence out the corner of your eye. That's one way to see them. And you know what? I'm going to go back to something, too, because I forgot about one of my animals. Hearing familiar sounds. I'll jump back to that. I had a cockatiel named Charlie for years. He talked. He was so funny. I'd be cleaning the house, and he'd say, "What you doing? What you doing?" And he passed away. He was old, and he passed away. The funny thing about it is that he didn't leave right away. He stayed in this house after he passed. I would hear him. I would hear him whistle. I taught him to wolf whistle. And I would hear him wolf whistle. And it was never a consistent time when I would hear this. It would just happen. And I would hear him whistle, or he'd whistle La Cucaracha. I had this bird trained. And so, yeah, I heard him wolf whistle. And it was really cool. I never even thought that a bird, would do that. It never occurred to me that a pet bird would come back like that. But he stayed here a good couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. So I wanted to add that to the hearing familiar sounds. Okay. Another sound that I hear, and I hear it frequently, is I have a pet fountain in my kitchen for my dogs. They drink fresher water than I do. And I hear it when Gypsy's on the couch with me and Buddy's asleep in his little area. I hear lapping in that bowl, like one of my kelpies is in there drinking water. I hear it all the time. It's really kind of cool. Really cool. I just wonder what they think of my cats, because my other kelpies weren't user-friendly with cats. Where Gypsy's more accepting of them. But I just wonder what they think of my cats. Anyway, so that's another thing that I hear as well in this house that I've experienced. And the reason why I'm telling you all this is because, you can experience them too. It's not something that I'm just saying to blow, reading off of this and trying to blow sunshine up everybody's wazoo over their deceased animals. That's not my goal and what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to show you guys that this stuff actually happens, and I've seen it happen. So let me jump in here. We are noticing orbs or small flashes of light. Now, I have noticed this in my hallway. And I always thought, and talking with Trish and stuff, I always thought it was fairy folk or angels. But it's not, from what I'm reading here. According to this article, according to this webpage, when our animals cross over, they often manifest themselves as a mist or luminous ball of light. This is common in the days, weeks, and even months after the passing of our pets. It is our animals' way of comforting and supporting us through grief. But orbs can also appear when we are dealing with challenging times. It is your loved one's way of letting you know that you're never truly alone. Our animals can remain by our side to heal and overcome with difficult situations. Now, here's something interesting, too. Have you ever sat down, because I used to have a dog that would lay at my feet all the time. She was my childhood dog, would lay at my feet all the time. I have to catch myself all the time watching where I step down when I go to stand up out of a chair, because I always get the impression that she's actually there, that that she's there at my feet. I don't know how I get the impression that she's there, but I get the impression that she's lying at my feet. So I always make it a point to step wide out of my chair so that I don't step on her. So, okay. Moving on. Receiving a sudden influx of shared memories out of nowhere. Our dogs and cats can also use telepathy to communicate from the spirit realm. They can impress thoughts and images to boost our mood, make us laugh, and remember the beautiful moments spent together. The experience is sudden, fleeting, and with an essence of peace and love. So next time your animal comes to visit, enjoy the experience and send your love back to them too. Frequently. I get that feeling frequently. All of a sudden, I'll be in the middle of something, even with Gypsy, and I'll have thoughts of Maddie or something that Reba and I did, just like today. What came up on my screen on Facebook today, for my Facebook memories, was Reba sitting in the back seat of my car, strapped, with her car gear on, strapped in, just out of the blue. And that brought back all those memories of how much she loved being in the car. That dog loved to go for rides, but I had to strap her in. And there's times also, like I said, because she was a rescue, she was nippy, I had this mask, and I just found that the other day, and it reminded me of the Hannibal Lecter mask that I used to put on her. It was hilarious. But she used to have to wear this mask because of her tendencies. But I mean, I've been finding stuff of hers all over the house, so I think I think she's been trying to contact as well this week. So yeah, I mean, if you're at home and you're sitting on the couch or you're doing whatever, and maybe you get all of a sudden you get flooded with a memory in your mind's eye of your lost pet, they're communicating with you. They're making that attempt to communicate with you. So never blow it off. It's usually and these things are very fleeting. So you have to watch out for that too, because like this is, it's very fleeting, and it could last anywhere from a minute to a few minutes, but then boom, it's gone just in the blink of an eye. This happens with a lot of investigations. I don't think I've experienced this per se for the dogs, for the animals, but experiencing unexplained electrical malfunction or disturbances. We know ghosts tend to do that, even as paranormal investigators. So let's see. Our pets in the afterlife can also communicate through electronic devices. You may notice lights flickering, appliances turning on and off, or your phone starts playing your favorite song. That makes sense. Who could blame? We could blame it all on faulty device, but it could be your deceased pet's way of saying hello. So yeah, so that happens, and I mean that also happens in the afterlife, right? You know, with human ghosts as well. Next one is let's see, feeling your animal snuggle up next to you. Now, I'm not going to mention names. There's someone in our chat room that has had that experience with a cat on a bed. I think it was on a bed. Maybe she'll come forward to say something. But yeah, I also had that experience, and I was lying in bed, and it was my childhood dog that I had as a kid, and I was sleeping in bed, and I was kind of in that half awake state, and I put my hand down, and I could feel her right there on top of my stomach chest area, and I could actually run my fingers through her fur as I felt her laying there. Very comforting, very comforting. But again, boom, just like that, it was gone. She was gone. But very, very comforting. Very comforting. But that is something that you have to that will happen that you don't expect. All of a sudden, you'll feel them sitting next to you, crawling into bed next to you, maybe on the pillow next to your head, on your chest, somewhere. But you'll feel them, or maybe even on your feet. Maybe they're animals that like to lay on your feet. That happens a lot. I've heard people tell me about those stories too. I will read your comments, you guys. I have my glasses on, so it's not happening now, okay? But I will read your comments, just before the show ends. Okay, moving on. Number 8. Sensing your animals are looking at you. Have you ever felt someone staring at you, but then turned to see that you were alone? You're not alone. And although this can seem a little spooky, it could be a loved one in spirit watching over you. Our pets enjoy observing us during our daily routine and continue to do so in the spirit realm. I haven't had that feeling, but my dogs have. Gypsy, Pepper, my mother's dog Pepper, who was also a Kelpie, used to sit in this tan recliner in her later years. And I'd look back there, she'd be sleeping. And so Gypsy has a tendency to stand up on my couch and peer over the back of the couch at that recliner. Like something's in there that's got her interest. So I'm thinking that Pepper's back there, being Pepper, laying on that recliner. Or I'll see Gypsy stare down towards the floor. Like if she's on the couch, she'll look into the entryway from my kitchen, and she'll look kind of low to the ground on the floor. So she's probably looking at one of the other dogs, whether it's Reba or Maddie or whoever. That's what Gypsy's seeing. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. But that will happen. That's another thing that will happen. That you feel like you're being watched, and it's your animal watching you. You get special encounters with winged animals, birds, and insects. Another fascinating way our animals can connect with us is through winged beings such as birds and insects. They may appear as a butterfly, ladybug, dragonfly, magpie, red robin, and hummingbird. Have you ever had a special meeting with one of these winged creatures? It could be your pet's way of reconnecting and showering you with their love. I always thought that Charlie, because right away Charlie, my cockatiel, and I really hit it off. I was able to train him, and he'd get up on my finger, he'd do all that stuff. And I always felt that maybe because he had come several years after Maddie had passed away. And I always suspected that maybe, the whole reincarnation thing, who knows. But I always felt that he and I were closer than one could imagine with a bird. So I always thought that maybe it was Maddie at times, or even Maddie at times, I had an instance with, because we also had poodles and chickapoos, and things like that. This dog named Repeat, who was really, really sweet. He was the son of my childhood pet. And he passed away, and then there was another son of my childhood pet who wasn't as nice. Dogs, they can be born from the same mother and be weird, right? And one's not, one's a completely, different personality from the other, and this was the case, here, And so he wasn't very nice, and it was funny because this dog occasionally would act like Repeat. Suddenly his personality would completely change, and he would act like Repeat. And so I always thought that maybe, that's what was going on with him. That maybe, Repeat for that moment was in this dog's body, so he could feel me actually pet him for real. Feel the warmth to be petting him. Don't know. I'm just saying. This is, like I said, this is what I experienced. Not everybody's going to experience this stuff. And so that was my experience with that. And as far as seeing butterflies and stuff, yes. There have been places out in my yard where Maddie used to like to hang out in my backyard, and I will see butterflies there or dragonflies there. So, absolutely, absolutely. See, and this is it. This is what I just talked about a few minutes ago. Number 10, noticing your other animals stare at empty space. I just covered that with Gypsy. Gypsy does that stuff all the time. And it's always when she's down, when she's on the couch or she's on the floor, and she's never looking up high. She's always looking at her level. If she's standing, she's looking at her level. It's always her eye level. So I'm always figuring it's one of the other Kelpies that's around. Have you ever noticed one of your furry animals stare into a corner of an empty space? See? For no apparent reason. Then it's possible that your living pets are seeing deceased animals or loved ones around the house. But if you see your dog staring into space and growling, it could mean they're being protective. Our deceased pets often come to visit during meal times, bedtimes, and snuggle sessions on the couch. So don't be surprised if your living animals set boundaries and become protective of their food, toys, and favorite places around the house. So that's kind of cool. Number 11, a sudden feeling of warmth, love, and comfort. Another way that we can know if our animals are present is by sensing the energy around us. Those in spirit have a higher vibrational frequency, so it's not a coincidence that we can feel physical sensations when they're around. Most people get goosebumps or a warm feeling across their bodies when a spirit person or animal enters the room. Possibly. I haven't experienced this, but, if that's happened to you, then that's probably what you're feeling. Your animal. I want to reiterate where I'm getting this from, because I don't want any problems with anybody. 25 Common Signs from Deceased Pets by Sandra Martinez. I just want to make sure that to reiterate this stuff to make sure that there's no problems. Hang on a second. Okay, number 12, sudden changes in room temperature. Well, as a ghost hunter, that's what's experienced by a lot of people who have paranormal activity too. So, ghost pets, ghost period, paranormal activity. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, noticing a sudden temperature change could also mean your animals are nearby. When our animals visit us from the afterlife, they draw heat from the environment. This is why a sudden drop in temperature, also referred to as cold spots, is often associated with contact from spirit realm. Next time you feel the room get chilly, say hello to your animals and thank them for coming. It's a possibility, because that happens all the time in the paranormal world with ghosts as well. Okay, so yeah. How about this? Seeing your pet's doppelganger. Every pet parent knows that no two animals are the same. We can all spot our horses, sheep, dogs, cats, and hamsters from a mile away. Almost no one has seen an animal that looks, walks, and behaves just like their own pet. But have seen your pet's doppelganger, an animal that looks, walks, and acts just like yours? That's no coincidence. It is your animal wanting to say hello and put a smile on your face. Now, I can honestly say that Maddie and Gypsy almost look alike. They're almost doppelgangers. Temperament, everything. Right down the line. In fact, when we went to pick her up, my producer Marisa and I went to pick her up, and the first thing Marisa said was, she looks just like Maddie. So yes, doppelgangers. It happens. It happens a lot. It happens quite a bit, actually. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm sure some of you have encountered that, right? Okay. Finding feathers, fur, or whiskers around the house. I've heard about the feather thing. When somebody loses an animal, I've heard about this feather. We all love our animals, but not everyone loves their shedding process. But did you know that our animals can continue shedding fur, whiskers, feathers, and skin even in the afterlife? It is yet another way that our pets let us know that they are around. The phenomenon is predominant among cats, as they live most of their life in the astral world and sometimes aren't even aware that they've crossed over. Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I had a feral cat that I was quite close to, and it shocked me because feral cats, of course, are wild, are technically wild animals, and so I had some feral cats I was taking care of, and there was a particular black cat which I named Blackie, very very beautiful female, and all of a sudden she starts rubbing on my legs, and I just thought, oh my God, what's this cat doing? It scared me at first, and then I realized that she was making me her person, right? She was making me her person, and like all feral cats, feral cats do not live long lives because they're out and about. You know, there's cars, there's nasty neighbors. You know, there's people that don't like don't like them at all, and something will happen to them. And I believe that what happened was that because this neighborhood is notorious for river rats because we live probably about 8 blocks from the river, and so we get northern roof rats, and we tend to get some river rats. And some of the neighbors would put rat poison on the fences. Well, the problem with that is rat poison smells good. The cats will eat it. So she got sick, and she was very, very ill. But she would still come to me. So I found her body in my backyard. She was actually headed towards the back door of my house. She was coming to see me, and I buried her. Okay, she's one of the only animals that I've ever taken care of, as far as the ferals. And every summer, I'm going to be doing this again, spring, summer, I do a thing in my backyard where it's a nice relaxation place. Like if any of you are doing my meditations, you're going to get a good look at this area that I design. It's really magical. And so I sit out there, I do meditations, and just kind of, it's my Zen spot. And I will see her from time to time come running across the yard or come out of the bushes to my right. And it's a black cat that runs across and then disappears right in front of me. And I know it's her. Okay? And at one time, after she passed, she was actually in my house. And I was seeing her in my house as well. But she does still come around. And I think she comes in and talks to the cats I have now because I'll see them, looking at something that's not there and talking to something that's not there. So I'm thinking it's her coming to see the cats I have now. In fact, her grandson is one of my cats. Okay? But you will find stuff. Feathers is a sign. I've heard of that. I've also heard of the whiskers things, where people will find whiskers. Number 15. Using words or numbers to communicate. Your pets will go to any lengths to communicate with you. They're even suave enough to remind us of upcoming celebrations such as birthdays, anniversaries, and other special occasions. You may notice a person or animal's name plastered all over town and then remember to call them. What? Hang on. Oh, yeah, okay. And then remember to call them. Other times you may have people talking about a birthday party and instantly remember an upcoming birthday. I've never heard of this happening, but okay, that's number 15. Now, this happens all the time here. Finding toys or objects in unexplainable places. I will find Maddie's tennis balls because she loved to fetch. I will find her tennis balls all over the house. And this house has been cleaned numerous times. Maddie's been gone almost 10 years now. Close to it. Maybe 11 years. And this house has been cleaned and re-cleaned and cleaned and cleaned. And there's no tennis balls, no nothing. I'll find her tennis balls all over the house. They'll just show up. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to find that stuff. Our animals love and enjoy playing with their toys, especially when we are around. If you start noticing your pet's favorite toys, unexplainable, moving around the house, it could be your pet wanting to play. Just because they're no longer physically here does not mean that they can't enjoy playing with their precious toys. Our deceased animals retain their soul's essence, including their personality, character, and quirkiness. So yeah, be looking out for that. I see there's a lot of comments today. I can't wait to read them. And just before I end the show, I'm going to enlarge that side and then I'll comment on that stuff, okay? How about this? Finding your animal's favorite food around the house. I don't think I've had that happen yet either. Most pets love food and have a strong appetite, so much so that they come back during meal times to enjoy their favorite treats. During these visitations, you may hear them munching on their favorite foods or leaving crumbs and pieces of food around the house. Okay, I take that back. I do hear crunching, and it's not my other two dogs. But you know what? It could be the cats, because I do have cats. So I can't say whether it's a deceased pet or whether it's whether it's my cats. But again, I do hear something drinking out of the big water bowl a lot. So that's something. Number 18, being drawn to particular objects. Our animals may also use objects such as picture frames to deliver a message even in the afterlife. They will try their best to guide and uplift us. If you are drawn to a particular object, open yourself up to the experience. Your pets may be trying to offer advice, trigger a memory, or remind you of the good times that you spent together. Trust your senses and see where it leads. Okay? Cool. How about finding misplaced or objects in unexpected places? Could your pets in the afterlife be playing games with you? Absolutely. Our animals enjoy having fun and may decide to unearth and hide our personal belongings and their most prized possessions. If you notice that your animal's toys or accessories keep appearing out of nowhere, it could be a sign that they are around. You may also notice your belongings move to different locations in the house, the car, or at work. They just want to get your attention to have some fun. I don't know if this happens here because Gypsy usually takes care of any object. She's pretty good at moving stuff, and so is my 16-year-old rat terrier. But that's something for you guys to look for. Number 20. Knocking objects over around the house. Have you ever noticed objects being knocked over or inexplicably falling off shelves? Well, this could be a sign that your animal is trying to get your attention. Each animal targets different objects and areas within the house. Dogs usually knock over items close to the ground, makes sense, and gravitate towards the living room and kitchen. But cats have full access to the house and enjoy messing with objects on higher surfaces, which makes sense, such as shelves, kitchen countertops, and even wardrobes. Food for thought, right? But again, a deceased relative will do that stuff as well. Okay? 21. How about this one? Finding unexplainable scratches or markings. I am forever finding scratches on my arms. Don't know if that's from that or I'm being abducted by aliens, right? So some people report personal experiences of unexplained scratches or markings around their homes. Although this is a rare form of spirit contact, animals can interact with their environment this way. You may notice extra scratches on your sofa where your cat used to sharpen their claws. Alternatively, you may discover paw prints around the house or new tooth marks on furniture where they used to chew. This type of manifestation occurs around spiritually connected individuals. So, that's a possibility as well. Now, here's something that has happened to me, and I'm going to go ahead and read this through, and I'll tell you, and I'll give you some examples here. Having vivid dreams about your pet. Dreams are perhaps the most common way for animals to communicate and visit us in the afterlife. These dreams are vivid, comforting, and open to multiple layers of meaning and symbolism. And upon waking, you feel profoundly calm, emotional, fulfilled, and spiritually connected to the divine. Our deceased pets can use dreams to let us know they are right by our side and also provide healing. Now, I told you guys earlier about Maddie and how it seemed like it took almost a month before Maddie appeared to me or came to me. And she came to me in a dream. And what a dream it was. When Maddie passed away at 15, 16 years old, she couldn't walk anymore. She couldn't see, she couldn't walk. And in my dream that I had, the first time she came to me in a dream, she was her old self. She was jumping up and down on her hind legs. I could feel it. I could feel her jump against me. I could feel her fur in this dream. I could literally feel her fur, her excitement at showing me how healthy she was in that first dream. It was something to behold. Incredible feeling. I didn't want to wake up, but I did. So, yeah. So that was going on. Then what happened was when I had the other rescue dog, the one I told you guys about that had issues. I didn't want to get a puppy right away, even though I wanted one really bad because I was heartbroken. And I didn't want to. On the other hand, I didn't want to get a puppy right away because Reba had really not had a person of her own to take care of her and love her, on their own. So I decided to hold off getting another Kelpie or getting another puppy. So I held off. I wanted Reba to have me to herself, which I did. I ended up having Reba like 7 more years after Maddie passed away. And what happened was that I had this dream, and Maddie came to me in a dream. Not so much as herself, but she came to me voice-wise in a dream, if you can believe that, voice-wise. And what it was I was going house to house looking for Kelpie puppies. And it seemed like a real long dream at the time, too. I was going house to house, and I got to this one house, and I was looking at the puppies, and I hear this voice in my head. When you find the black Kelpie, it'll be me. That's what I heard. That's why when I had the opportunity to meet Gypsy for the first time, and she looked so much like Maddie, I knew it. Even in the photo that the breeder had sent me, the rancher sent me, there was an instant connection. So, like I said, I still believe that even if she's not in there all the time. As far as Gypsy goes, Maddie pops in from time to time, and it's Maddie. Because Gypsy and I have this incredible bond, this understanding that goes beyond just having a dog kind of understanding with each other, the bond. But yeah, that was a very vivid dream of Maddie telling me, keep looking and you'll find a black puppy, even though Gypsy wasn't a puppy at the time. But still 3 years old, they're still considered a kid, right? They're still considered kids. A young dog. It'll be me. And I remember that dream so vividly. So vividly. So yeah, they do come in dreams, and you'll see them. Just like with my other dog, I could feel her fur as I was petting her when she was laying on my stomach in this dream. I could feel her. So yeah, so let's read about this, and it says, dreams are perhaps the most common way for animals to communicate and visit us in the afterlife. These dreams are vivid, comforting, and open to multiple layers of meaning and symbolism. And upon waking, you feel profoundly calm, emotionally fulfilled, and spiritually connected to the divine. Our deceased pets can use dreams to let us know they are right by our side and also provide healing. Of course. Of course. You might dream that your pet is sitting right next to you. And it's true. Your pet is sitting right next to you. Because it's showing you in the dream, hey, I'm still here. I haven't left your side. Okay? How about receiving visions from your pets? Number 23 here. Although our animals and the spirit can visit us at any time, we are most receptive during meditation and in the evening right before sleep and early in the morning upon waking up. In these moments, our mind is quiet and we are highly receptive to physical manifestations and visions. You may see your animal appear before you, express unconditional love, and offer guidance. Your animals may use visions to help you understand and resolve difficult situations in your life. I think it's possible. Like maybe that was a vision, that dream I had with the dogs, with what I perceived, because there was no way for me to tell that it was a dog's voice that was telling me, if you find a black puppy, it'll be me. It was just a voice in my head that I automatically clicked on and said, oh, it's Maddie. So, yeah, it's possible. How about this? which is what happened to me with Gypsy. A new animal comes knocking at your door. Boom. Let me have a little drinky here. It's hot here, man. It's a warm day. It was 65 degrees here. That's warm. You know, it's springy. I hope it stays that way. Have some water. Do you find yourself randomly encountering animals looking to be petted or searching for a new home? Whether it's a wild horse, a squirrel, a bird, a feral cat, see, feral cat, or a stray dog. It could be a sign from your deceased pet that you need a new companion animal. Our animals want us to be happy and think it is the right time to care for and love another animal. Another possibility is that your deceased pet is getting ready to reincarnate and is waiting for you to be ready for the reunion. Boom. See that? Gypsy. So yeah, like I said, I had this contact with these feral cats in my yard, and I took care of a real good-sized colony. And to be honest, there were 1, 2, and 3 that were friendly with me. There was the first black cat, and then there was a male gray cat that actually wanted to come in the house all the time and be with me and would roll over and then let me pet his stomach and stuff. So it does happen. It does happen, you know. So, yeah, be looking out for that. And last but not least on this list, hearing songs that remind you of your deceased pet. Our deceased pets can send messages through our radio and on our music playlist. They may choose songs that uplift our mood, guide us, and remind us of beautiful moments that we once shared. When our animals communicate in this way, the same song keeps playing everywhere we go. Wondering if animal reincarnation is possible? Then check to see if you have experienced any of the 13 signs your animal has reincarnated. I didn't see that one. So, should we continue and check out the 13 signs? What do you think? We've got about, well, we could go a little longer tonight. Let's see what that says. 13 signs, same lady, 13 signs. So here we go. Again, 13 signs you have found your animal reincarnated pet. Okay? So here we go by Sandra Martinez. We're going to hit that up right now. Feeling. Okay, perfect. This is what happened with Gypsy and I. Feeling an instant connection. Feeling instantly drawn to an animal can be a sign that you've encountered a reincarnated pet. These are usually dogs, cats, and horses. And although this may make sense, our minds doubt what our bodies and souls already know. We don't always feel an instant connection with others, so don't dismiss it. Maybe it's not your reincarnated cat or dog, but there is a strong indication that you've crossed paths with this soul before. Maybe even more than once. Don't dismiss the connection. It is a sign that you have met before and have a shared history. They may have something important to share with you. Feeling overwhelming emotions. Meeting our reincarnated pets can be a deeply emotional experience. The encounter may trigger overwhelming feelings of love, excitement, peace, sadness, relief, and a sense of being reunited. The reunion may bring about tears of joy and laughter, as this special soul holds a cherished place in your heart. These emotions are personal and signify a soul-level reconnection with our beloved pet, whether you unexpectedly meet them at home or while traveling. It feels like destiny brought you together. Recognizing their eyes. Yes, this has happened. This has happened, and that's how I've been able to tell the times that Maddie was with Reba. There was a time at the vet I had to take Reba to the ER vet. And, of course, again, she did not like doctors. She didn't like people. Not a people person. And when they brought her out after they had done the x-rays on her, when I saw her, and this is what's weird, okay? When I saw them bring her out on the leash, it wasn't Reba, it was Maddie that they walked out. It was Maddie. When she turned to look at me, it was Maddie's eyes. But the dog even looked like Maddie. I had her in the car with me. At that time, she hated riding in the car. But when she got in the car, Maddie used to love rides. When she got in the car, she sat there calmly all the way home. And then when I got her home, she was Reba again. So this does happen. This does happen. Our eyes are said to be the windows to our souls. It is believed that our bodies may change from one life to another, but our souls remain intact. So it is no surprise that some people instantly recognize their reincarnated pets while looking into the animal's eyes. If this is the case, you may have found their reincarnation. They are our animal soulmates, our helpers, and our best friends. When I looked at that photo of Gypsy, I connected with her immediately. Whether it was her eyes or whatever, there was a connection, a full-blown connection. Experiencing telepathic communication. Have you ever connected with someone so well that you know the thought going through their mind before they said them? It's just like you know things without having even exchanged a single word. This could also happen when we come into contact with our deceased and reincarnated pets. This is called telepathic communication, and the connection can be so profound that we even hear them speak. See? Words or sentences may flood into your mind, accompanied by a feeling of happiness and excitement. It's not you losing your marbles. It's your animal wanting you to know that it's them, that they have come back, and how excited they are to see you. It happens. It happens. Again, here's another one, getting a flashback of shared memories. Encountering your reincarnated pet is a truly extraordinary and one-of-a-kind experience that defies rational explanation. While you may not physically recognize your pet, you can feel their presence deep within you. During this encounter, you may start to remember all the things you did together. Those memories may appear as random visions, flashbacks, and dreams. It's not uncommon for these memories to confuse our rational minds, and some people may even begin to question the experience. Feeling the sudden urge to touch or embrace them. When you found your reincarnated pet, you might feel an inexplicable pull towards them, even when there is no apparent reason to feel that way. As you approach your pet, you may feel the urge to hold them in a loving embrace or to reach out and touch them. It's like you're reuniting with your deceased pet, but they are in a different body. This feeling can even extend to wild animals, as if you have an unspoken bond with them. Okay. Feeling that electrical current in your body. Ghost hunters do that when we're on an investigation. Getting goosebumps? Okay. How about experiencing deja vu when you're around them? It's a really weird feeling when you think you've already gone through the exact same situation before. Sometimes we may experience this with an animal that's reincarnated. We remember interacting with the soul despite the change in physical appearance. Some people experience deja vu when they meet their reincarnated animal for the first time. Others may get this feeling during familiar situations or experiences shared with their deceased animal. Let me reiterate, this is not my material. This is Sandra Martinez. 13 signs you have found your reincarnated pet. Hang on, let me find out where I'm at. Okay. Having a strong desire to have them in your life. Another telltale sign that you've encountered your reincarnated pet is feeling an intense urge to take them home with you. I'm like that with all the animals I see. It's just me. I like animals. I love animals. You feel a strong attachment to the animal sense and want to share your life with them once again. It feels like your beloved pet has returned, and you can't imagine life without them. Finding unique markings on their body. Another sign that your animal's reincarnated is through unique physical appearance. Like Maddie, the black and tan markings on her. You may notice that your reincarnated pet has a marking that reminds you of their past life, such as a birthmark in the same place, past injury or scar. It's truly remarkable how our furry soulmates can come back to us in such a special way. And it's a beautiful reminder of the everlasting bond that we share with them. Oh, they have an Australian Shepherd on here. An ACD, cattle dog. Okay, I talked about this with Gypsy, exhibiting familiar behavior, right? The animal might exhibit behavior just like your dog, your cat, or whatever your past animal was. Okay? One way to recognize the reincarnated soul of a deceased animal is by observing the new animal's behavior and personality. For example, you might notice that your new dog exhibits the same body language as your previous dog who has passed away, or they may show some similar fears and anxieties. Okay. Time and space ceasing to exist. When you meet your reincarnated dog or animal, the bond between them remains incredibly strong. So much so that when you re-encounter them, you may feel like the world around you fades away. Time seems to stand still. As you get completely lost in each other's company, you may find it hard to focus on anything else. Being with them is all that matters. This was no chance meeting your souls planned to meet again. Okay, so this lady does do in-spirit consultation with animals. So I'll go ahead and tease that. And it's Sandra Martinez .co.uk. Okay, that's the website, sandramartinez.co.uk, and that's where I got this information from. Okay, see, we made it. I just went 5 minutes over, so that was cool. I didn't expect to see the 13, signs of reincarnation. That was cool. But yes, I've had a lot of experiences, and one thing I didn't tell you guys about Gypsy, and see this chair, I keep sinking in it. One thing I didn't tell you guys about Gypsy, which is something that happened that really blew me away, was that my dad had had 3 or 4 boats over the years that he owned. And we used to go boating all the time. And the names of the boats were the Gypsy Rose. That was the boat name. So when the lady that gave me Gypsy told me what the dog, after I had connected with the dog already, when the lady that had her told me that the dog's name was Gypsy, I fell off my chair. Because I knew right at that point that was that I was destined to have her. I was destined to have her. I want to take a look at your remarks right now before we sign off. So let me pull up over here and take a look. See what we got going here. I'm going to start at the top. Hang on. See what we got going here. Okay. And again, like I said, I couldn't see these right off because of my glasses issues, so okay. Okay, we see Tasha and Misty often, sometimes in Fast Flash. Of course she does. Yep, that sounds about normal. And let's see, we're just going to look at these. It is comforting, Pamela. It's very comforting to see them. And let's see, that happens a lot with me, Michelle. Me and my cat that passed away in the 80s. The cat was a real character. And out of the blue, I see him in my head or across a photo of him. Yeah, okay, doing something goofy. Come across a photo. Another Michelle. I get a look at butterflies. Okay. One time a monarch landed on my hand and just sat there for about 5 minutes. I'm hoping that was the spirit of my cat. I feel incredibly connected. Absolutely. I get goosebumps? Yes. Absolutely. I am referring to the... Okay, yeah. We have heard them eating when our dog walker was in our lap. Of course, yeah, that's when I hear them. When I got Gypsy and Buddy with me in the living room is when I hear the water bowl. I hear it all the time. Okay, Marisa Haynes. My dog Quincy used to drink from the tub faucet. There seems to always be a cold spot when I run water in the bath. Of course. I'm going to share this with my friend. Lost a dog, though it had been living with someone else. They had been very close, but my friend had to move and could not take the time. Of course, that's always heartbreaking. Okay. When my pets have been in my dreams, I wake up feeling really well rested. I do too. That's one thing I could say about, when they've shown up in my dreams, it's always a very, very wonderful, warm feeling, when they do show up or when I do happen to glance them and see them. Okay, guys, well, that's going to do it for this show, and hope you enjoyed it, and I just wanted to make sure I gave that Sandra Martinez credit all the time. I don't want to get in any kind of copyright issues or anything like that. But Monday, we're going to be talking at Bigfoot with Brenda Harris. Brenda Harris is a Navajo Indian, is a Navajo Native American. Not going to say it. Oh, I almost said the I word. Is a Navajo, and she has a fantastic story to tell about the places where she's lived, where there have been active Sasquatch being on the properties. And so she's got a really incredible story to tell. So she's going to be with us Monday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. And of course, Saturday or Sunday, we will be here at 6 p.m. reading from a 25 Ghost Story book, which is turning out to be a really good book. Now, really quick, I have a link at the bottom of the description of the show. And Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific is going to be the first Coffee with the Ghost Hunter. And Coffee with the Ghosthunter was something that was dreamt up by one of my producers, and I think it's a great idea. When I was an editor with the newspaper, we used to do something once or twice a week where we would go to Starbucks and we would sit down and talk with the general public about their concerns, what was going on in the community and things like that. And when she presented me with Coffee with the Ghosthunter, I got to thinking about that, and I thought, wow, that's really a cool idea. It's kind of like what we just did tonight, right? In a sort of way, in that we will sit down at 9 a.m., and you don't have to leave your house. Okay, this is the bright side. We're going to do it through StreamYard, and there's only 9 spaces available. Actually, there's only 8 spaces now because one ticket is sold for it. And we're going to sit down, and you can ask me anything you want about the paranormal. I have been doing this for almost 18 years, so I've seen a lot in those 18 years. I've experienced a lot. And so if you think you might have paranormal stuff going on that you would like some answers for, anything like that, you can ask me. Pick my brain. Pick my brain. And if it's something I don't have the answer to, I will go and do research afterwards and get back to you on it, either at the next coffee or I'll do it in a private message. But I will get back to you with an answer to your question. You might think you got something going on in your house that you want to talk about. You might think you have an attachment. We will talk about that stuff. It's all free for all. It's like any question, any topic, I'm yours to talk. So it's 9 a.m. Pacific on Thursday, March 14th. We're going to be doing this. It's $5 a person. And think of it this way. If you were going to meet me at Starbucks, okay? If you were going to meet me at Starbucks and buy a coffee at Starbucks, it would cost the same to buy a coffee at Starbucks. I don't know, maybe more. I don't go to Starbucks, so I don't know what they cost. But, to buy a fancy schmancy coffee at Starbucks, it would probably cost $5 and above, okay? By doing this, you don't have to get dressed. You can sit there in your robe. You can sit there with your hairs in curler, whatever. I don't care. We don't judge here. We don't judge. And you can sit up with your bunny slippers or whatever it is you put on your feet in the privacy of your own home. Join me for coffee. I'll be drinking hot cocoa. I got a bunch of hot cocoa bombs, so I'll be drinking hot cocoa. And join me for a talk about the paranormal and pick my brain for information. If it sounds like something you're interested in, feel free to follow the link that is in the description of the show and head on over to the California Haunts Meetup and sign up. What have you got to lose, right? And if it turns out that this is a weird time for people, we might do it on maybe a Saturday morning or Sunday morning when people are home, right? So it just depends how things go with that. But the first one will be Thursday, March 14th at 9 a.m. Pacific, which makes it noon Eastern for people. So maybe your lunch hour, right? Your lunch hour if you're working. So just an FYI, and I hope to see you there. I'm really, really excited to start this, and I'm really excited to answer your questions because up here, lots of knowledge, lots of years doing investigating. And like I said, if it's something that I can't answer right away, I will definitely do the research and look it up for you. All right, so check it out. You can't click on that. I don't think you can click on that link, but you can, copy and paste it up in your browser and head on over there. But it's like I said, it's $5 per person, and all that money that we make off of that does go back into expenses to help pay the bills here for the radio show and for the paranormal team because there is equipment that we have to have, and some of our equipment's old, and we're trying to do replacements and things like that. So come on down, join me for join me for some coffee and we'll talk ghosts and paranormal one-on-one. All right, guys. I will see you guys on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, and I hope you have a good next couple of days. Have a good one.